It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander Army List show. We go out every Sunday night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode 198. We're going to be looking at like 7 or 8 different army lists tonight, submitted by the community, as always. If you are a green name in the chat or you're a patron, you will get priority in future editions or future editions of the show. What you just need to do is, after the show ends, put your list into the comment section on the YouTube video. That's the best way to get picked up and considered for a future show. So, as always, we've got a bunch of member lists, we've got a bunch of non-member lists, so thanks for being here regardless if you're a member or not. I do appreciate it. I think we're going to get fired right in tonight, so that we're not here too late. Ferdanito, Skullhead, good evening. Calgar, James, good evening. Mike, Phil, Thrillwood, Boris the Blade, Zach, Gordon, 18 Sanguinary Guard says immeasurable Varks. I don't recommend 18 Sanguinary Guard. I think that's very difficult to play. Sanguinary Guard typically gets shot off the table in like one round of combat. If you're playing against Forge Fiends, you definitely don't want 18 Sanguinary Guard. Jesus, that would be the worst thing ever. But okay, so let's go, says Phil. Thanks so much for being here. If you do get some value out of tonight's show, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. We have live streams every Wednesday, every Sunday, and we have pre-produced videos every Friday, and sometimes there's other things as well. I still don't even know if I recommend 12. Alright, we're looking at very first list tonight, submitted by Lord Commander Dante himself. I've been watching a lot of your channel. I feel like I've learned a few things. Hopefully this is an okay list. Alright, Liberator Assault Group. Last week was very, very Liberator Assault Group focused. Tonight I know we've got at least one Angelic Inheritors list to look at. So, we've got the Blood Angels Captain on foot with Rage. We've got a Captain on the Jump Pack. We've got a Chaplain on foot. We've got Dante himself. And then we've got that new Death Company Captain with the Jump Pack. We have 10 Assault Intercessors on foot times 2. Ooh, we're going a bit hoardy here. We've got an Impulsor. I'm assuming we're going to see Blade Guard for the Impulsor. We've got 5 Jump Intercessors. We've got 6 Blade Guard. We've got the Death Company Dreadnought. I don't think the Death Company Dreadnought is better than Brutalis Dreadnought. They are both the same amount of points. I think the Brutalis is probably going to be more useful just because you're probably going to have OC on it most of the time. And the mortal wounds it can do when it charges probably means it out-damages the Death Company Dreadnought. So I'm unconvinced with the Death Company Dreadnought. I think the Brutalis is better. I think maybe if it had been 10 points cheaper, I'd have gone for the Death Company, but I think because it's the same points, I think I'll always take the Brutalis. Death Company Marines with jump packs, we've got 10 of them. I guess they're going to be attached to that Death Company character. So a lot of squads of 10 in this list. A Lancer, a squad of Outriders, 2 little squads of 3 Sanguinary Guard, and a squad of Scouts. Oh, interesting. Okay. So that is the list. 20 Assault Intercessors on foot. 5 of them with jump packs. 6 Blade Guard on foot. A singular Lancer as the fire support. 2 small Sanguinary Guard Scouts, Outriders. And then Death Company Dreadnought is the other vehicle, so to speak. Personally, I don't know if I rate 20 Assault Intercessors on foot. So you've got the Chaplain, which you're going to most likely attach to the Blade Guard on foot. Maybe you've got a Captain attached to 10 Assault Intercessors on foot. I can't feel like I feel like I would just have another impulsor, right? Like I would just do the captain plus the impulsor plus 5 and get them where they need to be. Hello Dizzy, good evening. Hello Reuven, hello Adam. Didn't I say hello to you, Mike? I still think Death Company need a 5-up Feel No Pain to make them more accurate. 5-up Feel No Pain might be the difference between them being actually useful and not being useful, because 6-up Feel No Pain really never feels meaningful. And there's a lot of enemies that have better than a 6-up Feel No Pain now, right? Like a bunch of enemies have 4-ups, 5-ups on the Feel No Pain. Yeah, maybe if they want to keep the Death Company with like worse weapons, they need to improve the Feel No Pain. So you've probably got Dante leading 3 small, or a 3-man unit of Sangre Guard. You've probably got a captain leading the other 3-man unit of Sangre Guard. The Death Company captain leading 10, the chaplain leading the Blade Guard. I feel like, for me anyway, for Liberator Assault Group, I probably want 3 vehicles. I don't know if a single Lancer I don't think I rate. I played double Lancer this week, and honestly, I don't think it was my favourite. Lancers are quite swingy, right? Like, they either destroy something or they do nothing. Like, there's no in between them with the Lancers. So if you only have one Lancer, you're probably going to have turns where it doesn't do anything meaningful, right? Like, I think in one of my games this week, I guess, like, one of my Lancers did nothing, and one of the Lancers failed to kill 2 Chaos Spawn. I get, like, 2 Chaos Spawn, I think, with AP4 and rerolls, you would really think the Lancer would kill them, but it didn't. So, I often find my Lancer shooting something with an invuln. Yeah, and that's a big problem. Oh, that is the big problem with the Lancer, right? So that's why a bunch of people take Vindicators, Mike. So yeah, I think this list probably for me, Death Company Dreadnought, like I've said, I think he's eclipsed with the Brutalis Dreadnought. A single Lancer, I probably don't like that as well. I don't know if I would go 20 Assault Intercessors on foot. I guess it's probably okay, but it's just not what I would go after. Small squads of Sangre Guard is fine. They're nice and cheap, led by the characters. They're probably okay. They're not hugely killing units. So what you've really got to kill things with this list in terms of melee is the 10 Death Company with a sustained captain. So you put them in reserve. And the chaplain plus the Blade Guard inside the Impulsor. So that's your 2 killing units. And those units can both do some killing, that's for sure. But whether or not they are optimal... The Blade Guard are pretty optimal. The Death Company, I mean, I guess they're okay. 230. Do you know what? I actually don't mind that. The Death Company now with the sustained captain are only 305 points for 10 of them. That actually seems okay. I mean, they do a lot of damage for 305 points, right? What would they get? Like 12 Power Fists, 8 Eviscerators, and then 25 Chainswords, is that right? Yeah. So they get 22 damage hits, so that's a potential of 40 damage. 25 1 damage hits, so that's another potential of 25 more damage. So they could do 65 damage, plus the captain bring in another 6 Power Fists. So they could do like 77 damage, and they're all sustained 1, and they're all rerolling hits. I guess for 305 points, yeah, I think you could do that. Death Company with jump packs in reserve, 10-man with the captain. I think that would be totally decent. I prefer to have a little bit more fire support. I think to do that, I'd probably be willing to lose some of these assault intercessors. Like, you could lose 10 assault intercessors, and you could lose that Death Company Dreadnought. You could add 2 Predator Annihilators. Gives you some pretty good anti-tank. You could add 2 Predator Destructors. You could add 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. That's probably the direction I would go with this list. I feel that Blood Angels, even with the points drop, we struggle to punch into high toughness stuff, right? I did that this week against Bloodthirsters. Like, if you are going to be fighting stuff that's T10 or higher, Demon Princes, Bloodthirsters, we generally feel like our damage is lacking. And the way you make it not lacking is get +1 to wound, or you weaken it up with fire support first, right? Marine tanks miss a high flat damage dealer. Yeah, I mean, like, that's why people run Vindicator tanks. I feel like Predator Destructors are not too bad, but they don't have great survivability. They're quite expensive for their lack of survivability. But then I guess you could argue the Gladiator Lancer is quite expensive for its lack of survivability as well. Yeah. I think I would rather run Predator Destructors than a Lancer. I just think the Lancer only gets 2 shots. I ran it this week. It feels like 2 shots is rarely meaningful, right? But yeah, I think that if you only have 2 killing units, which really this list has, the Blade Guard and the Death Company, you need to be backing that up with more fire support. Because when I was running Liberator Assault Group in the summer, I was running like 3 killing units and 3 tanks. And I don't really rate 10 Death Company or 10 Assault Intercessors on foot as a killing unit. Probably just because their AP1 is really low, right? Toughness 10 and higher stuff is so cheap, people can bring so many of them. I think that's probably accurate, BlackRock. Like, there is a lot of... like, if you play an army that has, like, high toughness stuff, they have a lot of it, right? Like, it's just the way it is at the moment. Disney, what do we use to export our lists? You can use the Games Workshop app. You can actually make one list for free in the Games Workshop app. I think it's just called Warhammer 40,000, the app, right? Or something. I actually don't know what it's called, but I was going to say it looks like that in the corner. Warhammer 40,000, the app. It's just like the picture of the front, the box art of 10th edition. I'm pretty sure if you search Warhammer 40,000 in the App Store, you'll find it. Alright, Marius is our next list. Marius Berger. Not to be confused with Marius Gage, who's often in the chat. This is a different Marius. Hey John, thanks all for the great work you do in the community. I appreciate that. I'm anticipating quite a few Death Guard and Chaos Knights after going through some local chatter. So I'm just curious to see if this list holds, assuming I can too. Yeah, so if you're playing against Death Guard or Chaos Knights, like I played against Death Guard recently and fucking every single model in their army was toughness 10 or higher. Sorry, toughness 9 or higher, not 10. So if you're playing into toughness 9 or higher, playing Death Guard, then all of your wound rolls from all of your melee units are going to be 5 at best. If your wound rolls from your melee units are 5 at best, you have a huge problem, because you are not going to do any damage. Now, I know Death Guard often like to make you -1 save to make it that that it's harder or it's easier for them to kill you. If I was playing against Death Guard, I'd be honestly willing to take it -1 to hit against Blood Angels, because if you're -1 to hit and everything is toughness 9, you're just not going to do enough damage to kill units, right? So Death Guard are very difficult at the moment. Storm Speeders are perhaps overlooked. Yeah, they are overlooked in that not many people take Storm Speeders. They don't have great durability, I guess, would probably be the issue, Highland Phoenix. I've run my Storm Speeder a handful of times this edition, but I always feel like it's just never quite good enough. BlackRock says my Lancer did literally nothing to Magnus and put 12 damage into Mortari in the next game. It's so unpredictable. Yeah, I did the same. One of my Lancers killed a Forge Fiend from full health. One of them did nothing to the other one. Like, they are unreliable. I actually wonder if Lancers are more unreliable than Vindicator tanks, because at least with Vindicator tanks, you're always getting D6 plus 3. And I'm usually Oath of Momenting my Vindicator tanks, right? Like, they're usually shooting the Oath target. So unless I get a really horrible roll, I'm usually making 4 or 5 hits. Sometimes as many as 10 hits, right? Alright, so Liberator Assault Group. Captain with a jump pack, Dante, and a Death Company captain with Gift of Foresight. I actually don't mind this pickup of this Gift of Foresight on this Death Company captain, because if you use the stratagem on them to give them lethal hits and lands, then he can take one of his attacks and flip it to a 6, which will guarantee both a lethal and a sustained, So basically, anytime he attacks, you can guarantee an extra lethal and an extra sustained. It's not the worst thing in the world. If you got 15 points at the end of the list, I think it's totally fine. Krychek says, the Thunderstrike, I use Deep Strike for it, putting some good against hurt against heavy destroyers before DDA got it. You totally forgot its rule as well. Yeah, I mean, the reason you take the Thunderstrike is to get the +1 to wound. But it's annoying that it's only in the shooting phase, right? If it was +1 to wound in both the shooting and melee phase, I think it would be really good. Alright, we got 64 people watching. We have 17 likes. So give me 1 second while I find my stupid button that I can press that makes it pop up on the screen to like the stream. I do appreciate it. And we'll move on this list. It's not working. God damn it. That'll be why no one's pressing like button. My little animation is broken. How is that even broken? I hate OBS Studio, by the way. It just. Alright, hold on. No, it's just not working tonight. Okay, brilliant. Alright, so we've got the, these two captains and the Dante. We've got 3 units of 5 jump intercessors. We've got a Ball Predator. We get double Ballista Stride. It's kind of nice to see the Ball Predator getting played again now that it's gone down 10 points, right? I feel like I'm more tempted to play it now at 125. I really didn't like it at 135. We've got the 5 Death Company with jump packs. They'll obviously be with our Death Company captain. We've gone double Lancer as well as double Ballistas on a Ball. That's a lot of tanks. We've got Infiltrators, we've got Outriders, we've gone 6 Sanguinary Guard, probably with Dante, we've gone 3 Sanguinary Guard, that's probably with the other captain, and then the squad of Scouts. This list is a little bit of a doozy, right? Because it feels like he's trying to be Liberator Assault Group. He's trying to do mortal wounds and the Strength 6 chainswords here. He's trying to do something with the Death Company as well. Obviously, 9 Sanguinary Guard is, pretty common, I suppose, for Liberator Assault Group. 6 and 3, Dante. He's got the Outriders, he's got the Infiltrators, he's got the Scouts, and then he's got 5 tanks. I don't really value a Ball Predator, though, against Knights. Right? Like, I actually don't remember the strength of the main cannon, the Ball Predator. Strength 6? So the Ball Predator's main cannon is pretty bad against Knights, I imagine. Yeah, Strength 6. And it's not great against Death Guard, because even if... Like, the Terminator's Death Guard are using at the moment are Blightlord Terminators, right? And Blightlord Terminators are... Not Blightlord, sorry, I always get those two mixed up. The Death Shroud Terminators. Death Shroud Terminators at the moment are... No, their new codex is toughness 7. That's like that's like really bad for the Ball Predator, because it only wounds on 5, right? So yeah, the Ball Predator is not a great pick against Death Guard and or 125 point move blocker. I mean, you're really reaching for it to be able to do something, Highland Phoenix. Like, I can't remember the last time anyone paid 125 points to block, to move block something. I mean, just if you're just trying to move block something, just pay 70 points for a drop pod. You can drop it in turn 1, right? Yeah, double Ballistas, double Lancer. Is that going to be good against Knights? Well, I mean, it's going to be quite good against Knights. I guess it's... 4 las cannons, 4 crack missiles, 4 heavy laser shots. I think, based on what we were just saying on the Thunderstrike, I think this if you're playing Knights and Death Guard, I think you should get the Thunderstrike in there. That's what I would be trying to do, because we pretty much know that every single unit in the Knights Codex is going to be a monster or vehicle. You're already running 4 shooting tanks. And every single unit in the Death Guard, bar maybe like 1 or 2 units of Terminators, are going to be toughness 9 vehicles, probably. Like the bloat launchers, the mythic blight haulers. I mean, they might have a demon prince, but then he's a monster. So literally, I think the Thunderstrike. The Thunderstrike is 145 points, I think. It might be 150. It's been a hot minute since I played the Thunderstrike. It's 150. So we need to drop that enhancement, maybe? That I said was a good choice to get the 15 points. Or we need to find something else we can drop to get 15 points. Tricky. I mean, worst case, you could probably drop the unit of Outriders, replaced with a Tech Marine. That gives you... that gives you 25 points that you need right there, plus the enhancement. So yeah, you could replace... Oh, just dropping the Outriders for a Tech Marine gives you the points you need for the Thunderstrike. We know the Thunderstrike is not durable, so stand the Tech Marine next to it. He can do actions, he's lone operative, he'll be there all game. So you keep your 5 tanks, but you have 1 tank that's going to buff the las cannons on these other tanks, and the laser destroyers on these other tanks. So your laser destroyers are now going to wound on 2s, re-rolling 1s. So that makes a ton of difference. I don't think you have quite enough infantry units to get the most out of Liberator Assault Group in this list, right? Like you've got just over 300, 600, and then the Sanguinary Guard. So you're probably only at like 900 points of melee units in this list, which isn't quite enough to get the bonus from Liberator Assault Group. But having played Angelic Inheritors at a tournament recently, the problem with Angelic Inheritors is that their wound rolls are really, really bad. Because they're low strength and everything, right? Like Sanguinary Guard are strength 6, it's pretty bad. Chain Sword from Assault Intercessor strength 4, it's pretty bad. So you don't quite have enough to get the most out of Liberator Assault Group, but I think I prefer it here to Angelic Inheritors. It's not often we would recommend taking 5 tanks. And because you've got 5 tanks, I think the Tech Marine makes a lot of sense. Because one of those vehicles is going to die within whatever... And how many inches is it for the vehicle to die for the Tech Marine to get the crazy buff? Is it 6 inches or is it 3 inches? I mean, you want to be within 3 inches anyway, so you can repair the vehicle and give it +1 to hit, right? It's like if it's within 12. So at some point during the game, a vehicle is going to die. One of your friendly vehicles is going to die within 12 inches of that Tech Marine. At that point, his ranged profile changes quite drastically. So from his power axe, on the charge, he is making 8 at 622. Actually, I'm lying. He's making 8 at 822 because it's +2 strength in the Liberator Assault Group, right? 8 attacks at 822 off a 55 point model. There's not much worse. There's not many characters that can do better than that for 55 points, is there? I mean, like, at that point, he's the same as the Finest Hour Captain. The Finest Hour Captain only gets the 8 or 9 attacks once per game, right? He's got it for the rest of the game. Plus, he can do actions as a move blocker or whatnot, or as a lone operative. So that's what I would change. I have not had great luck myself into the new Death Guard Codex or into the Chaos Knights. I haven't played the Chaos Knights for a little while, but I got waxed by regular Knights at the tournament that I was at, and into the Death Guard Codex. I think I played them 3 times. I think I beat them once by 1 point. I lost twice by 1 point. They just have a lot of toughness. So, like, normally, like, I wouldn't, when I'm building Liberator Assault Group, 5 tanks isn't in my, like, that's not something that that's not something I put in my head to as a Liberator Assault Group list. It's not. But if that's what you're playing against, it makes sense. The danger with doing something like that, like taking 5 tanks or 4 tanks and a Storm Speeder, the danger of doing something like that is then you go to a tournament and you play against something that's completely normal or is not like a skew Death Guard high toughness list, and you've got all these units. Like, Lancers ain't going to do shit if you're fighting a Horde army of like 200 guardsmen, are they? They're going to kill 2 guardsmen a turn. Whoop-de-doo. The game could literally be 100 turns long, and the Lancer still wouldn't have done anything meaningful. Alright, we're moving on to Gareth's list next. Lethal hits, devastating wounds, and lance can help against toughness 10. Yeah, but there's not too many ways we can get lethal hits or devastating wounds and lance, right? Like, we have one stratagem that can give us lethal hits and lance. And then we have one character that barely anyone runs that can give devastating wounds, I think. Right? The only way to get devastating wounds in Blood Angels is Astaroth. And, like, nobody runs Astaroth. Like, I'm not sure I could put my finger on the money and say why nobody runs Astaroth, but that's reality. Nobody does actually run him. You don't see him in tournament lists. Alright, Gareth's list. After an embarrassing performance at a local RTT with my last list, a list which I felt good with and a list you rated highly too, I just got floored. 50 Berserker list, Dark Angels, Iron Storm, and Death Guard. Well, Death Guard are super difficult to deal with, so I don't know if I would judge that. Death Guard literally had a 67% win rate, like, last week before the balance state slate came out. I don't know what it's at the moment. Let me see if I can find it, like, stat check. Is it this? Yeah, like, Death Guard and Imperial Knights are miles ahead of everybody. %56% win rate on Death Guard from 248 players. So not even like a small number of people are playing them. No, like a huge number of people are... Oh, like it's double... It's actually one of the most played factions. Wow. Apart from Eldari and Custodes. Yeah, so Death Guard are about the 4th or 5th most played faction. They have a crazy high win rate. 56%. So I don't know if you're getting beat by Death Guard, I wouldn't look too much into it. Like, they're just very competitive for the points you're paying for them. Every opponent knew that we were strong, and they pre-measured a lot, which made it frustrating. My Vindicators didn't pop off, so once they're out, they're out. Yeah, I mean, Vindicators are a sort of tank that do pop off, right? I ran similar list to this in the 18th and lost 83 to 80 against my usual Death Guard opponent, so I'm getting there. Alright, so this list can actually do pretty decent against Death Guard. Dropped Heavy Intercessor, Dante, and Assault Centurions for extra Death Company and Captains, plus Vanguard Vets. While the Centurions are insane, they're a bit slow. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to take Assault Centurions, you probably need to put them in a transport, right? Like, 4-inch move is ridiculously bad. He said the Brutalis Dreadnought was one of his MVPs. Any thoughts for the next game? Okay, so we're still on Liberator Assault Group. We've got a captain with a jump pack. We've got 2 Death Company captains with jump packs. We've got 3 units of 5 Assault Intercessors. We've got 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts, 2 5-man Death Company, a single Lancer. So again, this is a 5-vehicle Liberator Assault Group list. We've got Infiltrators, we've got 6 Sangry Guard, we've got unit of Vanguard Vets, we've got unit of Scouts. So I guess the idea is that he's got 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts to do mortal wounds on the charge, to potentially tank shock, to potentially do a bunch of 3 damage, and just get rid of annoyances. So by adding those Brutalis Dreadnoughts, they do have multi-meltas and stuff like that as well. We do have the sort of standard 3 double ballistas, single Lancer, the 3 ranged fire support units. So most Blood Angels players, I think, at the moment would run... They might run 3 Jump Intercessors. They might run 6 or 9 Sangry Guard. They might run 10 Death Company. Like, that seems pretty standard. Most people would go, like, Blade Guards. Probably Blade Guards would probably be the most popular thing there right now that's missing. And he's decided he's playing Death Guard a lot. He's also playing, what did he say he's also playing? Like a 50 Berserker list. And also Iron Storm Dark Angels, and he's just gone, screw it. I'm going to lose some of my other melee units, like Blade Guard, like the 6-man Sangre Guard, like Dante. I'm just going to put 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts in there. I think Brutalis Dreadnoughts do a good amount of damage when they charge, because they can potentially do 12 mortal wounds when they charge, right? Because the Brutalis ability is you roll a d6. I think as long as you don't roll a 1, you do mortal wounds. I have played a Brutalis recently. I've got one of my lists. Yeah, you roll a d6 and you can do up to 6 mortal wounds. You kind of combine that with a tank shock as well for another 10 dice 5 up. 10 dice 5 up statistically should be 3, is it? I don't know. I feel like it should be 3. Maybe 3 and change. 10 times point 3 and change, yeah. So statistically, I guess if you tank shock, you're probably going to do somewhere in the region of like 7 mortal wounds most of the time when you make a charge, 6 or 7. So 6 or 7 mortal wounds, then it's melee, which is not too bad at all. Twin linked, AP3. So yeah, I guess durability wise, 2 up save, toughness 10, makes it a lot harder to wound. I do think they're a bit of a bullet magnet, the Brutalis Dreadnoughts, but I mean, if they're shooting at your Brutalis Dreadnoughts, then maybe your Ballistuses and Lancers can actually get some piece to kill things. Krychek says I run 5 vehicles. I don't think that's excessive. You're running Liberator Assault Group as well, Krychek? So maybe the current way of running Liberator Assault Group into some of these really difficult to deal with armies is to run a few more vehicles, right? Like this list had, the last list had 5, this list has 5. I know for sure if you're running lots of infantry into Death Guard, it is bad. I know for sure if you're running lots of infantry into Knights, it's pretty difficult as well. So, BlackRock says, I took down Mortarion with the Do Brutalis abilities after my Lancer softened it up. It was beautiful. Well, there you go. So, yeah, I'm running a single Brutalis in my Ultramarines list at the moment. I think it's cool enough. So some people are pushing that a little bit for Blood Angels now to get the 2 Brutalises in there. It's a little bit sad that like the Brutalis is generally still better than the Death Company Dreadnought. You would think the thing that would make sense would be for the Death Company Dreadnought to be the stronger version of that Dreadnought because it's a chapter specific Dreadnought, but I just don't think it is. I think the way you run it is the Brutalis, with the potential to do like 7 mortal wounds with a tank shock when it makes a charge. Well, it's actually got potential to do 12 mortal wounds. I don't think that's going to happen very much, but an average of 7 mortal wounds every time it charges with a tank shock is pretty great. Its OC4 is also pretty great. So it jumps onto an objective with OC4. It kills a bunch of stuff that's softened up. It can do a sweep for like 11 attacks in Liberator Assault Group. That would be 11 attacks, twin linked at strength 9, so can pick up a ton of one wound models. It's not. I suppose it's 1 inefficiency is 2 wound models. Not very efficient against models that have 2 wounds, but yeah, no, I think it's good. The way that I would probably try and deal with Death Guard is to have a unit of company heroes. I do really like the company heroes into the Death Guard. I've been playing Forge Fiend World Eaters as well, and World Eaters are obnoxious with Forge Fiends. Every list I play of World Eaters has 3 Forge Fiends. I can understand going heavier on like Forge Fiends just rip infantry apart. It's borderline broken / disgusting for how cheap those things are. So I can totally understand going a few more Dreadnoughts to try and mess with that a little bit. I think I did play. Yeah, no, I played my Storm Raven against the Forge Fiends, and the Forge Fiends were actually pretty bad against the Storm Raven. -1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 damage. So I think, like, you could argue that, like, a Redemptor Dreadnought would be good against the World Eaters, but, like, I think the Redemptor's just too expensive. Company Heroes, yeah, I mean, Company Heroes are the one unit that we have against Forge Fiends that might actually not be terrible. But not many people play Company Heroes, and World Eaters with 3 Forge Fiends is a very quirky / skew meta that's currently out and about. I don't mind this list at all. The thing I mind most about this list is I have a Brutalis Dreadnought on sprue, but it took me like 5 hours to build the thing. I did not enjoy building that Brutalis Dreadnought at all. It's like 115 pieces. Like, why does it need to be so many pieces? I hated building it. It took me like 5 hours. And most people I said something like that to, they were like, yeah, I didn't love building that Brutalis Dreadnought, right? Like, it just seemed like it was too much. Like why is it so many pieces? And then I was browsing Reddit, like, literally this morning, and I saw this post by someone who's holding up a Brutalis Dreadnought, and it was like, I hated building this model. 452 upvotes. You know, you've got my upvote as well, Wings of Democracy. What did people say? I have built over 20 Brutalis Dreadnought. It is definitely one of the worst new kits. Why the hell have you... 20? 20? What are you doing? I've built one and it was friggin' tragic. I never want to build another one in my life. Someone said that it's not as bad as the metal Pennant engine. I've never built a Pennant engine, a metal one, but I can imagine those metal models were... They were pretty rough to build, some of those metal models. But yeah, so... The one thing I don't like about this list is I'd have to build another Brutalis Dreadnought, and I honestly hated building the one that I had. Yeah, I mean, I would buy an easy-to-build Brutalis Dreadnought, but I don't like it. Alright, he's a commission painter, yeah, maybe. I'll second the Pennant engine, says Krychek. I feel obligated to run Brutalis and Death Company Dreadnoughts because of the time it took to build them, says Aurelian Vorn. Does the 4++ from the Lieutenant go to the whole squad? The Lieutenant with the shield gives the Company Heroes a 4++. No, it doesn't. The Lieutenant with the shield, he has a Storm Shield. His Storm Shield rules don't go to the whole squad, man. I am 100% confident that the Lieutenant with Storm Shield does not give his buff to the squad. But I'll read it just so you know. Just so we're aware, right? The Bearer has a 4-up invulnerable save, right? So, like, the Lieutenant gets a 4-up invulnerable save. It doesn't carry over to the squad. Okay. Just proxy the Redemptor as a Brutalis Dreadnought. That's what I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could do that, Blackrock. Good idea. Rankos says, oh god, building the Death Company Dreadnought took me ages and I've never played him. I took ages to build that Death Company Dreadnought and realised I'd put the wrong... I didn't realise there was, like, one version of his hands that have claws and one version of his hands that have, like, stubby fingers. And I put the wrong... I messed that up. Like, I guess I wasn't pay attention. So this thing took me 5 hours to build and I didn't even get the hands right. Brutalis has done well for me, especially in lag. Yeah, I think the Brutalis is probably okay. Maybe that's going to be the new meta for a little while. If infantry units are just getting blown off the table with flat 3 damage constantly, then maybe we need some Brutalis Dreadnoughts. Stuart says 3D printed dreads are the best. They're usually like 3 pieces. Yeah, I could get on board with that, Stuart. Alright, we're looking at Rastor. His list is up next. Hi BA Commander, thanks for your quality content. I'm a Blood Angels player since 3rd edition. It's been a long time since I played. Here's the list and all the things I want and need. And then are some options. Alright, so we're going to do Liberator Assault Group, Dante +6. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. Rapid Ingress, that's fine. A Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch, 6 Blade Guard and Impulsor. Totally fine. I do that often. I've run that to tournaments. It's a good combination. When I ran it to the tournament, it was 180 points, so it's good. Now it's cheaper. I'm going to take some Reavers. to scout 6th Impulsor before leaving it, essentially giving them scout 9. Potentially leading a turn 1 charge, and then the Blade Guard moves 6 and embark, and then Impulsor moves and gets in position. I mean, quirky idea, but cool. Mephiston, a combi weapon lieutenant. I don't know if you need both those characters, honestly. Like, I feel like they both do the same thing. You've got scouts with knives and missile launchers. You've got 2 units of outriders. They're going to skirmish on objectives. There's early trading. Yeah, I mean, I like outriders because they're a little bit more durable. Early trading with reavers, I guess, is fine. Maybe it's a little bit more impactful now. They're strength 6 and -1. Yeah, sure. They're cheap. You've got the Sanguiner. He messes up melee armies. My experience of the Sanguiner Liberator Assault Group is very bad. I don't think he's worth 140 points. I literally played against him in a tournament. He literally did his heroic intervention against one of my units of Sangre Guard. He killed 1 model. Right? Like 140 points to kill 1 model of Sangre Guard. What's that? Like 40 points, 43 points or something. And then I just put all the attacks from the characters that were next to him into him, and that was pretty much the end of him. He's down to 1 wound or something after his 1 intervention. I think the Sanguiner is a good character in Angelic Inheritors. In Liberator Assault Group, I'd stay away from him. I rarely feel I get value out of him in Liberator Assault Group. 5 Infiltrators for your home field is fine. 2 Lancers for tank busting is fine. I personally don't love 2 Lancers. I just ran them this week. I feel like we talked about them earlier in the stream, right? They're very swingy. Sometimes they go off and do a ton of damage. Other time they can't even kill 2 Chaos Spawn. So Lancers probably in a weird way have the same problem as Vindicators, right? Like sometimes they are good, sometimes they are just very swingy, and most of the time you're shooting Lancers into enemies that have a 4 up invulnerable save. So the AP4 that they have isn't super reliable. I guess they don't need your Oath of Moment. That's something. You've got 13 separate units. I now have 255 points left. My options are a Ballistus Dreadnought and a Bite Chaplain. I mean, a Bite Chaplain, I've run him in Liberator Assault Group. I don't overly like him because his AP1. I think that lets him down. You could Rage Fueled Warrior to get sustained hits on him, but I think his AP1 lets him down. You could do 2 Invictor Warsuits, Scout move early, bit of a glass cannon, but they do have a nice fist. I'd possibly lean towards the Invictor Warsuits based on what we were just talking about with the Brutalis Dreadnoughts. You could have a 3rd Lancer. Probably would avoid running 3 Lancers. I think they have this, I think you just have the same problem. The Lancer is far more reliable than the Vindicator. Yeah, until you shoot stuff that's on a 4-up invuln save, and then realistically, they have to take 1 4-up invuln save, which they will just CP, right? At least when a Vindicator tank goes hard on something, it's like take 9 saves, right? When a Lancer, it's like take 2 saves. They save one of them, they don't save the other one, and they know it's D6 plus 3, so they just CP 4 up the save, right? So I think Lancers are weak in terms of, like, because sometimes, if you fail a 4-up save and you know that there's potentially 9 damage coming in, you will probably be willing to CP one of those. With a Vindicator, it's too many. It's like, I failed 5 Vindicator shots. I just have to let him roll the damage and see what happens, right? We got the 6 Plasma Inceptors. Plasma Inceptors are good in, I guess, in terms of breaking enemy ranks, in terms of picking off key enemy targets. Plasma Inceptors are good. I don't like Assault Intercessors with Sanguinary Priests, so I think in this list you probably maybe want to do something like a Tactical Warsuit and the Plasma Inceptors and get rid of the Sanguiner. I think like the Sanguiner, Mephiston, and a Combi Weapon Lieutenant, that's like 3 lone operatives. And in my experience, in Liberator Assault Group, and I literally played against Liberator Assault Group in the GT I was at this month, and it was the exact same thing. My opponent had Mephiston, I know he's got Fight First and all that good stuff. My opponent had the Sanguiner, I know he's got Heroic Intervention and all that good stuff. Both those characters were massively unreliable. he paid like 275 points for those characters, right? I think in reality, between them, they killed like 2 Sangre Guard. That was it. That's all they did the entire game. I suppose they maybe did lone operative stuff for like 1 turn or something, but like paying 275 points to kill 50 points of infantry, or even if they killed 100 points of infantry, which I'm pretty sure they didn't, that's a negative 175 point trade. If the Sanguinar had some sort of strength 8 or rerolls to wound or something, maybe I would be considering him. But in Liberator Assault Group, I just don't rate him at all. Stalin says, Plasma Inceptors are great at hunting enemy fight first units, and 5+ to wound rerolling is a 55% chance to wound, so they can help with tanks. Yeah, I think the 6 Plasma Inceptors is a good choice. They don't even necessarily need to be overcharged if you're not shooting at crazy high toughness stuff. So you can Oath of Moment them. In Angelic Inheritors, I like as well that you can sustain the Plasma Inceptors, because they do get 12 shots. So 12 shots with reroll hits sustained, with potentially flat 3 damage every shot, is pretty nice. People are using the Sanguinar to put them on the other side of the charging unit, so some of the models have to pile in instead of their actual charge target, which is interesting, but still not worth it. Yeah, I mean, that can be interesting if you're fighting against, like, orcs and they're charging you with, like, a 20-man unit. But, like, if it's just if you're fighting custodes and it's, like, 3-man squads or 5-man squads, it's not going to be massively meaningful. Maybe keeps, like, 1 guy out of the fight, which probably doesn't do enough for 140 points. The Sangre Priest I don't think can attach to company heroes. I think if he could attach to company heroes, I would have already done it. Because I love the company heroes. Like, my next list I was thinking I was going to... Yeah, I don't think you can attach to them. My next list I was honestly thinking about running 2 squads of company heroes. I love company heroes. So yeah, I would 100% drop either Mephisto or the Sanguinar in this list. I'd probably add the Plasmas. I'd probably look to add some sort of smaller melee threat unit, actually. Like, there's no Jump Intercessors in this list. Jump Intercessors are one of the best units, I suppose, in Liberator Assault Group. So maybe I would do that. Ten of them 160 points. Alright, let's move on. Guff Bucket. We're on to Angelic Inheritors. First time tonight, I think, is it? We've got an Apothecary. We've got a Blood Angels Captain with Coming Back to Life. It's an interesting choice. We don't often see the Captain coming back to life. We've got no Overwatch Captain, another Captain, a Dante, a Phobos Librarian, a Lieutenant, and a Combi Weapon Librarian. Okay, so there's going to be tons of squads. Assault Intercessors times 10. I imagine they're probably with the Captain. Here's my issue with Assault Intercessors in Angelic Inheritors. They're Strength 4. Strength 4 and 5 in Angelic Inheritors is just bad. Because having just played it to a tournament, quite often you go into an enemy where you're only wounding on 6s. So even if you play a stratagem, you're only wounding on 5s. If you're only wounding on 5s, even with rerolls like Assault Intercessors have potentially, you're still probably not going to do enough damage to kill shit. Wounding on 5s and 6s is pretty tragic in melee. And bear in mind, if you're playing Angelic Inheritors, you're not getting +1 attacks either. So you're on a reduced number of attacks. And your wound rolls are really, really bad. You know what? I just noticed his list's name. Bal Secundis. That's pretty clever, actually. Obviously, it's Bal Secundus. But, yeah, that's a pretty clever army list name. Alright, Guff Bucket. You win points for the cleverest army name this week. But yeah, Assault Intercessors, I don't like them in basically any weapon that is Strength 4 or 5 in melee. I don't like it in this detachment. Even strength 6 is problematic. Maybe that's going to be a little bit less because of the reduction in the strength of knights, down from 12 to 11. But strength 4 and 5 in this detachment are almost a no-go. I actually ran Blade Guard with a chaplain in this detachment, and I thought they sucked. So that's Blade Guard with +1 to wound all the time. Because they're only strength 5, I really thought they sucked. If a character has a once per game ability that is already used and it comes back to life, can they use the ability again? No, I mean, it's not a new model. It's the same model coming back to life. He can't use his once per game again. 100% can't do that. Alright, Intercessor Squad in Impulsors. You then have 2 squads of Jump Intercessors. I mean, I've just discussed why I don't think Jump Intercessors are good in Angelic Inheritors. We actually don't see too many people play them at tournament level in Angelic Inheritors. If you're playing at tournament level in Angelic Inheritors, you're actually looking more like Plasma Inceptors. You're looking more at small squads of Sangre Guard. You're actually probably looking more at like Vindicator tanks, maybe even Las cannons, be it Devastator squads or something like that. So you've got a Ballistas, we've got Hellblasters ×2. I mean, I actually don't mind these. I guess Strength 8, AP 3, 2 damage. Infiltrators, Sangre Guard, Sangre Guard, Sangre Guard, Scouts. I love Hellblasters, but I feel tanks are my main issues. Also, my jumpers get indirect fired a lot. So, possibly the way to do this in this list would be to lose some of these jumpers and lose some of these 10 assault intercessors and put some of these Hellblasters inside impulsors. Because Hellblasters inside impulsors can shoot just fine. And they can overcharge just fine as well. Outside of Liberator Assault Pack group, jump intercessors are very mid. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good assessment, Krychek. So these are very mid in this list. And so are these. So I would take those 300 points. I mean, you could keep 1 squad of 5 jump intercessors. That would be okay. But here's the other thing. If we're talking about Angelic Inheritors, I think the way you make your list, the way you win tournaments with Angelic Inheritors is you need like 800 or 900 points of shooting. Like solid shooting, right? So you've got 2 squads of Plasmas and you've got Ballistas. So that's like 350 points of shooting. That's it, right? So you are massively, massively low. Yeah, like you are just way too low on shooting with Angelic Inheritors. I was at a tournament where I was running 2 Vindicator tanks. So it's like 350 points. A Ballista Dreadnought. So it's like 490 points. And a Land Raider. So it's like 730 points. And I still didn't have enough shooting for Angelic Inheritors. I'm considering a Knight in my Angelic Inheritors list. Yeah, you see how much points Canis Rex went down? Like, you could put Canis Rex in. That would be good. You could put in... you could put in a friggin' Knight Castellan. The Castellan went down a lot of points as well, man. I wonder if this is updated. Castellan. No, I mean, it's not that. It's the Knight Castellan. No, I don't think this is updated yet with the Warhammer community downloads. Warhammer 40,000. Index Imperial Knights. Castellan. So the Castellan is still T12. I mean, T12 is a real meaningful breakpoint, right? So how many points is a Castellan now? Went down 115 points. 395, that's bonkers. Alright, yeah, I would take a Castellan. Does it still have all the guns it had before? While an armature within 6, sure. Each time a range attack is made by this model against a monster or vehicle, reroll damage of 1. Okay. So you still have the Volcano Lance. 72 inches. It's equipped with the Decimator, the 2 shield missile launchers, 2 twin meltagun, siege cannon, volcano lance. Alright, so you still have the volcano lance. You still have a plasma decimator, which gets d6 plus 3, 9, 3, 3. It's blast, whoop-de-doo. You still have 2 shield breaker missiles. 72 inches, 12 minus 6, 6 plus 1, anti-titanic 4 up, dev wound. Dev wounds on Alaska, you know, remember when they said this edition was going to be less lethal? Do you remember that? Right, this edition will be less lethal. Alright, we just given this knight 3 shots potentially at d6 plus 8. Rerolling wounds of 1 against monsters or vehicles, which is going to be what you need whenever you're shooting a target, isn't it? And then we've also given it 12 minus 6 d6 plus minus 6. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Because, like, you have a 2-up save and you're standing in cover, so you have a 1-up save. So if you have a 2-up save and you are in cover, you still don't get a save because it's minus 6. Like, what's the point in having weapons with minus 6? Even the minus 5 doesn't make sense. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so like, even if you have a 2-up save and you're in cover, minus 5 just means you still don't get a save. So, like, I don't know. Stupid. Why is this 395 points? It's still toughness 12. It's still 28 wounds. This is bonkers, actually, at 395 points. I guess they really want to sell some knights. Wow, I want to run an... I'm honestly going to text Andrew right now, like, does anyone... I'm just going to send a text. Right. Does anyone have a Castellan I can borrow for, like, 2 months? Don't judge me. That's stupid. I'm honestly asking. Does anyone have a Castellan I can borrow for like 2 months? Knight. Castellan. Yeah, the autocomplete from Siri isn't perfect. Alright, it's sent. $395 points is bonkers, man. It lost 1 toughness and 1 save. Yeah, but I don't think it matters. Because you can't really hide from it. Every gun's got giant range. I mean, in the one game it explodes, you've got problems because it's d6 plus 2 deadly demise. But yeah, that's a very efficient platform now for 395 points, isn't it? I wonder how long it would take to start Ally Knights conversions. It's basically a no-brainer now, says David. Yeah, I mean, that is a no-brainer. Like, that's a lot. So before it was like 510 then. So it basically dropped like 25%. 22.5%, give or take. Wow. Canis Rex is very good as well right now, by the way. He is only T11. But he does have all hits of 5 plus or crit hits. And his main gun is D6 shots, 14 minus 3, 4. Sustained 1. So every 5 up is a sustained. He's also got blast on that. And once per turn, you can target this model from us with a 0 CP, even if you've already targeted a different unit with a stratagem in the same phase. Yeah, I thought they might change this to what they changed with Guilliman. So it was like once per battle round. But no, they left it as a turn. So if you have Canis Rex with you, you essentially get 10 free CP in every game with him. Yeah. His melee's good as well, because again he procs, flat 9 damage melee, AP 3, like strength 20. Yeah. Did they make him a little bit slower, or did he always have 10-inch move? I felt like he maybe moved a little bit faster than that before. The melee is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, even his sweep is bonkers, right? Like, his sweep pretty much just eats up a whole squad of Sangry Guard. With 10 attacks, you're going to roll a couple of 5s. So you're going to sustain a couple at least extra, right? Crits on 5s is very, very nice. Well, especially every time he attacks, you just use his... If you're not playing the Knight Detachment, then you don't have that many stratagems you can actually use on them, but you can do a reroll for a hit. So you just pick one of your misses and reroll it looking for a 5, right? Or you reroll the number of shots from his high cannon every turn. Like, you just have basically a free reroll in the number of shots for his cannon every turn. And if you don't need it, then you reroll a miss for looking for a sustained. So yeah, I mean, this list could probably honestly benefit from a Castellan. Or something the equivalent, you know, like get rid of all the jump intercessors pretty much and replace them. You could do impulsors. Put Hellbusters inside the impulsors. You could add Ballistus Dreadnoughts, you could add Vindicators, all the stuff like that. I calculate the damage output of Canis Rex in melee. It's insane with sustained 1 and 5+. Oh, and he gets a free tank shock. Oh yeah, tank shock's pretty good when you're toughness 12 or 11, isn't it? Yeah. Canis Rex is very good. The Castellan, I think, right now is very good. I'm really surprised they put the points on that stuff down so much, honestly. Like, if I had either of those two models, I'd be putting them in my lists. I like both of them. I think the Castellan might work really well with something like Angelic Inheritors, honestly. Because, like, if you think about, like, Vindicators being pretty unreliable, you could just run like, rather than run 2 Vindicators, just run a Castellan, right? Alright. The tournament scene is going to be ruined for months. Maybe. The free strat stacks with the captain's free strat as well. Yeah, I mean, it stacks with a lot of the free strats, because those usually the ones that reduce costs, you know, they call out specifically that they can't be the same version of them can't be used more than one time. Well, this is a completely different one, right? So, like, if you put Canis Rex in a list that has Guilliman's one that reduces costs works in tandem with Canis Rex one. There's no problems there. It's absolutely fine. Alright. Stalkin. He was here earlier. We're looking at his list. He usually watches on Twitch. We've got Dante, Lamartez. We've got the Jump Pack Captain with Speed of the Primarch. We've got 15 Jump Intercessors. This is going to be Liberator Assault Group, I think, just based on that. We've got the 10 Death Company. They will be unled, it seems like. We've got 6 Inceptors. We've got 5 Infiltrators. We've got 9 Sangry Guard. We've got Scouts. We've got an Invader ETV. We've got Outriders. We've got double Ballistas. This is my solution to many of the problems we face in the meta. Everything usually starts on the board except the Inceptors and often 5 Jump Intercessors. Lamartis plus 10 death... Oh, sorry. They're not unled. They're with Lamartis. My fault. 330 points for the 10 Death Company with Lamartis now. Lamartis plus 10 Death Company was strong before, just expensive. They are just as strong as they were, but they might be a bit cheaper. Like you said in the stream, they are the solution to tough problems tanks, but basically anything toughness 6 and higher. Because they don't have an invulnerable save, I find Armor of Contempt to frequently be necessary to keep them alive. -1 damage goes a long way as well. It's still very important they make at least 2 charges in a game, right? So you need to bring these guys in from Rapid Ingress, you need to kill something. 6 Angry Guard, runs with the Fight First Captain, are an important unit to stage properly, so they just aren't getting shot. They tend to hunt for big damage combos, my opponents have, but generally they don't. You don't want to charge toughness 10 if they can help it. As if they can't help it, they're my priority for Red Rampage. That makes sense. 3 Sangry Guard with Dante. That's interesting. So he keeps the Dante unit, actually the small unit of Sangry Guard. They usually stick with the sides of the board rather than attempting to hold the middle, so they're like a flanking unit. 6 Inceptors hunt enemy fight first, 3 wound infantry, toughness decisive. They always get oath. Even without sustained hits and assault intercessors, they average about 9 damage to tanks. Most everything else skirmishes. Does actions, grenades help with the skirmishes. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an infantry-heavy Liberator Assault Group list, which personally is probably not my favourite, because Jump Intercessors have very little durability, Death Company have very little durability. Sanguinary Guard probably also kind of have low durability if we talk about them being shocked, right? Someone can format a list. Oh, you don't like the formatting that the GW app does? Crycheck? I think most people just make their list in the GW app these days, at least I do. Seal says, I won two games, lost one in today's tournament. Both wings against elves, lost to Death Guard due to the time running out and opponent being too slow. I could have won if I had had enough time. Isn't that frustrating if your opponent is too slow, right? Yeah, so this is a bit infantry heavy. We're basically relying on 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts to be... Well, 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts and our Inceptors to pick off targets, to soften things up so that our Death Company, our Jump Intercessors, our Sanguinary Guard can kill things. It's not my personal favourite type of list. I tried to run something like this week, right, where like I basically only had 2 tanks and had a crap load of infantry, and I got stomped all over this week. I mean, I am playing against 3 Forge Fiends, which I think are stupid. I just want to go on the record and I think Forge Fiends are way too cheap for what they bring to World Eaters. And also I think Hellbrutes are also way too cheap for what they can bring. I had to play a tournament game against them last month. 3 Hellbrutes, 3 Forge Fiends, and it's honestly really stupid. Because they're like no skill units. You just bring them in and they just kill stuff and there's nothing you can do to even counter them. I think a list like this would struggle against that, but like whether or not that matters, I guess. If they're not in your meta, great, enjoy it. My meta, the bonkers World Eaters are definitely there. There's nothing inherently bad about this list, right? Like all these units are strong in Liberator Assault Group. I haven't actually played Lamartus plus the 10 Death Company for a while. I think they're quite a hard unit to play. I do like the idea of the 6 Sanguinary Guard with the Fight First Captain, stage them well, take it to the enemy when... it's like playing an all War Dogs list. Yeah, it's just a little bit silly, isn't it? But yeah... Stalin goes on record and says the 3 Forge Fiends and the Death Guard are my problem matchups, but I don't think it just loses. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends on how well your opponent plays, but I think that the opponents that I play against that play those armies are good enough that I usually lose when I play against those unless I tailor to beat them. But I guess the danger with tailoring to beat them is then you lose out against other armies, right? Like, I tailored to fight 3 Forge Fiends, 3 Hellbrutes at the tournament that I was at. I ended up playing against them in that tournament. I ended up beating them 90 to 86, so I did beat them. But then, like, I basically had to tailor my list so hard to deal with 3 Forge Fiends and 3 Hellbrutes that then my list was just tailored to deal with World Eaters and Death Guard and couldn't deal with other problems, right? So I kind of generally hate tailoring lists. I prefer doing something like this where I'm building a list based on the merits of the list as opposed to what it can counter. Like, I think when I built my list that won the GT last year, I just built my list because I thought it was a strong list. And I think that's a better way to go about it. But it's not... It's hard to ignore the noise, right? Like, if you, in your meta, let's say you just keep getting beat by War Dog spam. Someone just said that in chat, right? So if you just keep getting beat by War Dog spam, it's very hard to be like, I'm going to a tournament next week. Let me just completely ignore the fact that I lose to War Dogs every time I play them, and and build a balanced list, right? This list doesn't have enough anti-tank. Inceptors are good, but can get killed too much. At least one impulsor, I think. Yeah, I mean, I probably agree. I probably feel like you're probably a little bit light on anti-tank. And as much as I like Inceptors, and I want to play Inceptors, I think they're horrifically bad against the World Eaters right now, right? Like, the World Eaters, and arguably also the Death Guard, will kill the Inceptors so fast. Like, it's really hard to just, like... Because those things are so prevalent in my meta, like... I have no doubt that squad will get wiped in like one round of shooting from World Eaters or Death Guards. So it's like, it would come down to you're putting them in the perfect position. And when I'm playing World Eaters at the moment, they always have those Forge Fiends in strategic reserve. So the second you put down a squad of Inceptors, they're going to bring in a Forge Fiend with strategic reserve and annihilate them off the board. So, yeah, I think your list is fine. I just think that, like, you're going to have some problems into some matchups. Every list is going to have some problems into some matchups. I guess it really comes down to what you can do when you play against said matchups, right? But yeah, I think all the units make sense. Like, they are all decent units in Liberator Assault Group right now. Maybe you're a little shy on anti-tank. I could agree with that. But if you don't think you need it, or you don't think that you're going to need it in your meta, I don't even know if 3 Lancers is the correct solution, honestly. Because Lancers get a very low number of shots. And like, I just played against Forge Fiends this week, and I shot one of them with the Lancers, and he just rolled 2-5 up in Bun saves, and the Lancer just bounces off and does nothing against it. So it's like, Lancers have no weight of fire. Alright, Jake. He's got a meme list, excuse me. So, inspired by 18 Centurions. Oh, Jesus. Alright, let's see. Angelic Inheritors. Captain with the scout move. Jump Captain with Troubling Visions. I actually kind of hate Troubling Visions. I don't think it's worth taking. Dante, Librarian with Come Back to Life. Or sorry, Lieutenant with Come Back to Life in the Sanguinar. Alright, so we've got Ballistus, 6 Inceptors, a Repulsor, and 18 Sangry Guard. Oh god, no. No. Just no. This is a meme list. 18 Sangry Guard I would not run ever. Right? That's like 750 points of toughness 4 bodies. These guys do not have survivability into certain armies, right? Like I played against them. Like, I played against 15 Sangry Guard at the tournament that I was at. I killed 14 of them in one turn, right? So, like... So he lost. He had, let's just say he had 800 points, because they're a little bit more expensive at the... You know, they were 260 a squad. So he had 780 points of Sangry Guard, and I killed like 750 of them in one turn. They have no survivability. There's like 2 Vindicator tanks and a couple of charges. He lost 14 of his 15 Sangry Guard. They're not viable as 18. Like, I don't care that you're putting them in 2 repulsors. You also have no units bar like... Alright, so your combi weapon lieutenant can do some actions. The rest of... Like, there is nothing else in your list that can do actions unless you're doing actions on a 180 point repulsor. I suppose your list has some killing with the Inceptors, with the Brutalis Dreadnought. But you have very little ability... You have very little chance of being able to score. And you... Naheem says, lol, we got someone running 18. Yeah, I just can't see it, man. I mean, I have 30 I think I have like 28 or 29 Sangry Guard. I was building towards 30, like, of the old models. I think I'd finally got like to 28 or 29, but I haven't even rebased more than 12 of them onto the new base size, because I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. If Sangry Guard had toughness 5, maybe. But like, if you've been watching my battle reports on my channel, how many times has a single Forge Fiend wiped an entire squad of Sangry Guard and the character? Like, that happens literally every single time I play against World Eaters. Like, 140 point Forge Fiend will obliterate the entire squad plus the character. Like, that happens every time. So you're losing 350 points to a Forge Fiend that's in reserve, and you're not trading anything for that. You're just losing 350 points for nothing. So this is a meme list. Maybe you can have fun with it. I would not run anything like this to a tournament. Like, you're gonna get crucified by some armies. War dogs, like we joked earlier about like the war dog spam. Remember, war dogs get like anti-fly 2-up, flat 3 damage. So their shooting war dogs they're gonna be anti-flying. Sorry, did I say anti-fly 3-up? It's anti-fly 2-up. So the shooting war dogs are gonna cull half your squads instantly, and then they'll just be finished off with the melee. Yeah, I mean, like, my last list ran 9 Sangre Guard, and I am honestly questioning if that is, like, because I lost them so quickly. And I've run 9 Sangre Guard 3 times to 3 different tournaments now. And they always die so friggin' quickly. I know they made them a bit cheaper, but, like, I'm honestly wondering if 9 is too many. Like, should I just be running 6? Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. They have more survivability than Death Company, but it's still very low in shooting, right? So yeah, the meme list, Jake. I think here's the thing, right? You want to play Angelic Inheritors? Sure. There's like a few very quick things. You need 900 points of shooting, including the Inceptors. So, I mean, repulsors are not optimized shooting. So, like, you could replace both those things for Vindicator tanks. So, 2 Vindicator tanks, the Ballistus Dreadnought Inceptors, you're pretty close. Maybe you need 1 more shooting unit. Maybe something cheap. You want to half these Sangre Guard squads into 3s? 3-3-3. Your characters are actually okay. But if you half the Sangre Guard into 3, then you could have, like, a few scoring units. You need some scouts. Like, Blood Angels always score better when they have scouts. So you need at least 1 squad of scouts. You need at least possibly a couple of units that actually can survive and stand on objectives. Maybe Outriders, maybe Impulsors, maybe Company Heroes, right? Stuart says, the 6-man Sangre Guard is all I run. The 3-man squad is still not worth the points. I thought the 3-man squad at 110 unled seemed like it would be okay. Like, I played that this week. I felt like it was okay. I mean, it feels like it's a decent amount of damage for 3-man for 110 points. Alright, move on. Last list for tonight. It's by Commander Care Bear 43. He's running 6 Sangre Guard with Dante. He's running 10 Death Company with Lamartes. He's running Mephiston, a Repulsor Executioner, a Captain on Foot with 5 Assault Intercessors, a Lancer, another Impulsor with 5 Assault Intercessors, another Impulsor with 5 Assault Intercessors, a Ballistus Dreadnought, and the Infiltrators. It's his first list in 10th edition. He didn't say... I assume this is Liberator Assault Group, right? So Dante plus 6, Lamartis plus 10. We've got 2 pretty killy units there. We've got a Lancer, a Ballistus Dreadnought, and an Executioner. So that's the 3 tanks. That's okay. We've got the Captain plus 5 Assault Intercessors plus an Impulsor. That's okay. We've got another 5 Assault Intercessors plus an Impulsor. That's okay. I'd probably say these 5 Assault Intercessors on foot could potentially get culled. And you could also argue Rage Fueled Captain. Rage Fueled could get culled. Gives you 100 points. We don't have scouts. Do you know what? Probably the simplest change would be to just cull these guys and get some scouts. If you've not played Scouts, you should play Scouts. They're very good at screening. They're also very good at scoring. They also get like pre-game moves and stuff. I think 3 Sangre Guard for 110 points in lag is worth it. Because it's 15 AP3 attacks at strength 8, right? If you're just trying to kill enemy infantry, like, let's just say that you're trying to... if you imagine you're deep striking just 3 Sangre Guard, it's a pretty small footprint. 15 attacks hitting on 3s, so you get 10 saves at AP3. If you go in, let's say you go into like a unit of enemy assault intercessors, or yeah, assault intercessors, fuck it. You just go into enemy intercessors. You would wound on 2s, and then they only save on 6s because you're AP3, right? So so like statistically for 110 points, these guys will kill. They will overkill, right? Like 5 would be a kill. They will overkill 5 intercessors. So they would, you know. So if you were playing a mirror match, for example, you're playing against another Blood Angels player, and he jumps a unit of assault intercessors onto an objective. If you can charge them with your 3 Sangre Guard, unled, in lag, you will wipe the unit. You will wipe the unit by to a tune of like 1.8 extra dead models, right? So I think at 110 points, I would say that Sangre Guard are fine, right? Because I think if you... I mean, maybe they're not the most optimal, but the AP3 is pretty nice. You still are -1 to hit in melee when you're unled, which is not the worst as well. So if the enemy's charging you with like a minimum size unit, it would probably be okay. The problem with the 3-man unit of Sangard is they don't kill 10-man units of chaff. Yeah, I mean, they don't. But let's say it was a 10-man unit, right? We already worked out that we can kill 6.8. So we charge our 3 Sangre Guard into a 10-man unit of jump intercessors. We kill 6.8 of them. So at that point, because we've got a banner, we're OC 6 on that objective. And they're now only OC 3, right? Because they're 1 OC per guy. So you're at least contesting it. Even if there were 2 OC per guy, you're contesting it. If you could throw grenades beforehand, you're taking it, probably. So I think 3 Sangre Guard are fine at 110 points in Liberator Assault Group. Unled, I think that's fine. I think you guys are being overly harsh on 3 Sangre Guard. Are they the most optimal unit ever? Probably not, but I think it is fine at 110. I mean, if you put them at 100, then no one would take Vanguard Veterans, and very few people would probably take, what's the other thing that's 90? Like the Jump Intercessors? Like, I think they got to be a little bit more expensive. They do have an invuln save. They do have 3 wounds per model. They do have -1 to hit in melee. I think it's fine. But this list, you need to get a unit of Scouts, and I would get rid of 1 unit of Assault Intercessors. That's the simplest way. You've got 3 tanks, which is good. You've got a couple of melee threats, arguably 3 if you include the Captain on Foot. You've got Lone Operative, who's actually come down in points, because this list must be submitted just before the new points updates, actually. So these are guys are net. Oh yeah, it is. Because these guys, this is now 120. This is now 100. Oh, so you've got, hold on. You got 15 more points, 25 more points, 30 more points, sorry, 35, 55. You've actually got 65 more points here. Did anything else come down? No. You got 65 more points. Arguably, or not arguably, annoyingly 5 points away from having that Scout Squad for nothing. So yeah, I think you probably drop this unit of Assault Intercessors on Foot. You could actually add 2 Scout Squads, or you could actually add the Scout Squad and the Lone Operative Lieutenant. That's probably what I would do. Lone Operative Lieutenant is a tricksy monster, and he gives you a bunch of rerolls to wound, and then Squad of Scouts is very, very good at scoring. Assault Intercessors don't get too Plasma pistols. They get 3 in the 10-man squad. I think they get 2 on the 5-man squad, don't they? I don't like them at 110 points for 3. They aren't the worst, but I just can't justify them. That's fine. I think it's each to their own. Some people like Sangre Guard. I think personally, I think Sangre Guard are still a better pick than Death Company. My issue with the Death Company seemed to be they still seem underwhelming in terms of overall damage. I think that's to do with their low AP. Like, I think if Death Company all had 1 extra point of AP, then I think they could probably be justified at 120 points, 10 more than Sangre Guard. Because they're not, I feel like, I just don't think they're probably as good as, I think I would always pick 3 Sangre Guard over 5 Death Company at the moment. I've tried the Death Company now. I'll try them again, but the one time I tried them this week, they seemed pretty underwhelming. Maybe Death Company just are underwhelming with this edition. Maybe that's just a thing. So anyway, if you'd like to get your show on next week's... Sorry, if you'd like to get your list on next week's show, you can put it in the comment section. Death Company need run in 10s, Sangre Guard don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the Death Company need to be run in 10s and the 5-man doesn't work anymore. I think I am precious. Well, I think I probably know that I'm precious on the 5-man Death Company, because when I won the GT, I ran 2 5-man Death Companies. And I ran them both with the cheap chaplains, so they were like cheap hammer units. I guess everybody had an Infernal Pistol, everybody had a Power Fist. And I think everybody... when I was running Death Company, you were re-rolling all the shooting attacks as well. So I was re-rolling all hits with Infernal Pistols. Maybe that's the missing piece of the puzzle that I've been forgetting. And maybe that's why Death Company just don't work anymore in 5s. And I just keep trying to run them in 5s and they just keep not working for me. But when I ran the GT, they were, I guess they were monster units in 5s, 5 Infernal Pistols, re-rolling all hits, 25 Power Fist attacks, I think it was, with the Chaplain, re-rolling all hits. Strength 10 plus 1 to wound with the Chaplain. They didn't need any CP spent on them, and they were very, very good. I didn't think they carried me to that GT win, but maybe they did. I've just struggled to figure that out. Anyway, that's us for tonight, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed or learned anything, please leave a like. The Death Company needs the Death Company captain. Without strats, the Death Company adds 22% before calculating his own damage. Yeah, I know that. I just don't know if even the 5-man Death Company, if it's just not hitting hard enough anymore. With the full Infernal Pistols and the full Power Fist, they killed absolutely anything. They really did, right? The 10 Death Company get 3 Fists and 2 Eviscerators. That's decent. Yeah, I mean, it's decent, but I think the Eviscerators being Strength 9 and only hitting on 4s isn't the greatest, right? Like, I don't know. I'm going to need to build a new Liberator Assault Group list. I don't know if I'm including any Death Company. But I need to build something this week because I need to play Andrew on Wednesday night. I think I want to do Liberator Assault Group with like at least 3 tanks, because that's what I feel has been good in the past. Maybe 3 tanks and a Storm Speeder, but then that's really leaning into like too many vehicles. Blackrock says the Index Jump Death Company absent has felt even more in this heavy monster vehicle hellscape that we find ourselves in now. Yeah, I think that's where I'm struggling with Liberator Assault Group, right? because we are in a situation where there is a lot of heavy monsters. And Liberator Assault Group, and to a point, even Angelic Inheritor struggles against that. And that's why Vindicator tanks are very popular, and that's why Inceptors are very popular. I think that's why Vindicators plus Inceptors won tournaments with Angelic Inheritors, right? Because if you've got multiple Vindicators, and you've got multiple Inceptors, and you've got, like, let's say another Ballistus Dreadnought in there, you have a lot of ways of plucking off, like, a lot of damage, and then, sure, you can finish them off with a small squad of Sangre Guard. I think that was the key for, like, the LVO run that put Blood Angels, that put Angelic Inheritors on the map, right? Boris says, I hope Death Company get +1 AP as a part of their Black Rage. Yeah, I mean, Death Company have just had a bad edition, right? I guess, like, they got some points drops, but is it going to be enough? Do you know what? Let me just before we end the stream, let's just see. Since the points dropped, where Blood Angels have we gone up on the win rate? Or are we still sub 50%? Oh, it's bad. It's still bad. What's the date on this? State of the game. How do I see the dates? Last updated. Oh no, this was updated a little while. Alright, okay. This is not so useful. If anyone get me the current Blood Angels win rate and send them to me in Discord, I'd appreciate it. I noticed that, like, Games Workshop don't make these posts anymore, which is really frustrating. Do you remember they used to do that, like, Meta Watch? 40k Meta Watch. Like, they used to do it every 3 months or something. And now it seems like they just don't do it anymore. I assume it's because the meta, like, I don't know why they're not doing it. This was the community post. I honestly this is the community post that I honestly read the most, the Meta Watch ones, because that's what I care about. You know, like, there's a lot of stuff on the Warhammer community page that I just, like, I don't read any of these articles. Like, I'm here for the competitive stuff, right? Yeah, I heard that it was maybe up to 49%. We were at 43%, so I heard it was up. But, yeah. Guys, have a great Sunday night. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you. Hopefully there'll be a lot. Well, there's going to be a live game Wednesday night, so hopefully I'll see some of you guys Wednesday night. It's going to be World Eaters. They're probably going to have Forge Fiends. They're probably going to have Hell Brutes. I'm probably going to lose. I'll try not get my head. I'll try not lose my head if I'm going to lose again. I just take solace in the fact that I did actually beat Andrew at the tournament. So there's that, you know. So I get beat a lot on stream, but when it comes to it, bring the knight. I don't know if anyone replied, if anyone has a Castellan knight. Oh, Miles has got one. Where is it? Remember your +2 strength, +1 attack. Yeah, I that would have helped, but I still think I would have lost that game, right? Like, the Forge Fiends just do too much damage. I mean, the fact that the Hellbrute killed about 400 points of models in one turn, consolidating, fighting, consolidating, fighting, consolidating, fighting. I think it fought 4 times in one round of combat. I mean, that doesn't help, right? God, Hellbrutes are broken, aren't they? Good night. See you. Have a nice afternoon then, Mr. Stewart. We'll see you next week. That next week will be episode 199, so tune in for that. I'm probably going to do some sort of giveaway in episode 200 of the Armulus show. So definitely tune in for episode 200. Serious question. Do you think Lag or Ironstorm would be better if you ran 3 Brutalis and 3 Deathwatch Dreads? Liberator Assault Group is generally seen as better if you have 1200 points of units that will benefit from Liberator Assault Group. Thank you so much, Stephen, for the $5 super chat. I'm not really actually familiar with the dreadnoughts of the Death Watch. Are they like box knots? Death Watch dreadnoughts. Let me look at these. Death Watch dreadnoughts. What even dreadnoughts do they have? Like what dreadnoughts are we talking about? Did he mean Death Company dreadnoughts? Oh, right, the Death Company dreadnought. Cool. Yeah, well, I mean, Liberator Assault Group does give you an advance and charge stratagem. That will help with all those dreadnoughts. So you're going to run 6 Brutalis dreadnoughts, or 6 Brutalis chassis dreadnoughts. I pity you for a start having to build 6 of those chassis. But, yeah, I mean, they all get bonuses from Liberator Assault Group. +2 strength is not massively meaningful. +1 attack is somewhat meaningful. Iron Storm doesn't have advance and charge, I know that. Iron Storm lets you reroll 1 hit, 1 wound. 1 damage, maybe? Well, you've got flat damage anyway, so there's no advantage in that. So, +1 attack, +2 strength. The 2 extra strength is probably not going to be all that meaningful as well, because you're going to go from like strength 12 to strength 14. Maybe. Maybe. Do you know what? Just based on the fact that you might need to fight, if you're fighting any enemies that are T12, then you do get a bonus for being, where the hell is the Death Company Dreadnought? I can't see it. Here. Yeah, so actually, Liberator Assault Group giving you +1 attack and +2 strength is probably pretty good. Because if if the enemy rocks up with Land Raiders, you go from wounding them on 4s to 3s. That's meaningful. I would take lag, I think. The Iron Storm reroll isn't doing much, says Calgar. Yeah. That'd be interesting actually to run 6 of those dreadnoughts. That would be like 1,000 points. So 1,000 points of melee dreadnoughts, followed up by like a few units of jump infantry. Yeah, I would try the Liberator Assault Group. The other one you could potentially consider would be Stormlance, because on Stormlance, everything gets advanced and charged. That's the thing from Stormlance. So if you're just wanting to get down on top of your opponents much quicker, you just move everything forward 8 inches in turn 1, you advance everything, and then turn 2, you advance and charge everything. But yeah, I don't think I would do Iron Storm for that. I think you're better off Liberator Assault Group. Maybe there's some sort of quirky thing you could do in Stormlance. Thanks again for the $5. That is going to be the end of the stream. I better go. You guys have a great evening. Take care. Thanks for watching. Good night.